Right, it seems like the stream started, so I always have to wait a bit because sometimes it doesn't actually start yet. We're bound to Edinburgh. We've still got the British Airways flight ahead of us. He's got a little bit faster, so he's 11 miles ahead now at Abbeville. We've got the same routing, so just got to keep an eye on him the entire time during the descent. We now need to start a descent so that we reach InRev at flight level 200, so that's in 2 miles time. So I'm going to start it now, just to make sure we are at that constraint. So there's 1.7, 2.789.3. So it'll be about 25 minutes to landing from now, I imagine, if everything goes according to plan. Now looking at the wind, 090 degrees at 12 knots, so that's slightly from the right, 30 degree from the right with 12 knots crosswind. Now the clouds are looking like we've got good visibility, but it's overcast at 11, and the dew point is close to the temperature, so there's a possibility of fog.
On the flight deck, ladies and gentlemen. As you may have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now would be a good time to wrap up any business you need to take care of as we prepare for our approach. If you are up, once you return to your seat, we ask that you remain seated till the aircraft arrives safely at the gate. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for
Can I see the ground? I can see the ground. That's amazing. I can see the floor. Not for much though. So we're now descending down. He's also now descending. So just keeping a little eye on him for the descent, basically. Auto brake for the approach. Yes, that's a good point to discuss, co-pilot Johnny. Looks like auto brake low would be sufficient. Great, let's do that then. What am I talking to myself? It's absolutely mental. So that's all good. Enter the destination data, maybe a good thing to do. So 090 degrees at 12 knots is the wind. 090/12 magnitude wind. Temperature is 6 degrees Celsius, so a bit chilly. And the dew point is 4, and the QNH is 1020, so higher pressure. Now we're going to do an ILS approach, so I'm going to assume the minimums. Nope, that's not how we do things. We go into Chart Fox, we put in EGPH, because it's one of the few places which is covered. I may be thinking about getting the Navigraph charts at some point. Approach runway 06, ILS, NDB. 210 knots maximum for the procedure. Category C aircraft on a Category 2 approach uses a minimum of 72 feet. Cap 1 is 152 feet above ground level, so we will do 152 feet above ground level as our minimum. 152 on the radio. And let's do a config free landing for a change. So we've got a faster approach speed. Now GPWS landing flap 3 needs to be engaged for that. But other than that, there's nothing much else we need to change. All we need to do is remember that we're only going to do a flat free land. Now flat free landings are a little bit higher energy, so it means that it's potentially smoother but also higher potential for running down the runway. But we will see. We will see. We say the faster landings are better because it means we can keep in touch with all of the high speed approaches. I wonder what geographical feature we're currently coming over. I think it's the Lake District actually. So if we zoom right in, we're currently over Carlisle and Gretna. Oh, Gretna Green. That's where everyone goes and elopes. So we're crossing the border now into Scotland, so this will be the top of the Lake District behind us here. We're entering a kind of band of precipitation by the looks of it. So we've got 10 miles to InRev and we're flight level 230, so looking good for the approach. British Airways has disappeared off to another heading, so we'll just follow this whole approach arrival thing all the way around. Everything else looks all set for the arrival. Speed's okay, a little bit high, but that's no problem. Oh yeah, have a look at the nice things. back into the cockpit just to make sure we do continue our descent. So now we're aiming flight level 70. This will be a 3-degree glide path the entire way down, so I'm just going to basically scroll in flight level 070. We'll just adjust it ever so slightly as we go in. So the next waypoint demands a 250 knot speed restriction, so I'm going to override that by putting in 280 and flying them down to floor Tartan. Then we'll slow down once we get to 10,000 feet plus normal. There's no need for the speed restriction as we have the traffic ahead. It's well ahead, 30 miles away, so that's absolutely no problem with conflict in traffic. Putty workout for my climbing fingers. Just realised you can actually use them to do a number of different exercises to get the finger strength right up. I must be wondering why my fingers have been cracking for the past 10 years of my life, and it's probably because I don't do anything to look after them. So that's happening now. So yeah, we're just over the speed, but that's fine. Escado, doesn't matter the altitude. Going down now to Tartan. Tartan is your initial vector point, so basically from that point you would get vectors off onto the ILS from air traffic control. So we'll be doing that bit ourselves. Some lovely, lovely weather. You can see the precipitation band here ahead. This is all going to be rain. We're now turning to Tartan, so I'm going to actually dial in the speed down to 250, and then 230 at Tartan would be fairly sensible, as that's our vectoring speed. So you can see the beginning of the approach there. So Tartan, basically what we want to do is take a left turn onto roughly 270 degrees, I imagine, and then basically vector ourselves for that ILS 06 over there. I'm going to use a bit of speed brake now. Seems like we haven't quite got that planned perfectly. Just to bring the speed down so that we are at Tartan at a roughly appropriate speed. Doesn't have to be hugely appropriate, but more or less. By no means inappropriate. It would be very inappropriate if I was to do that. Speed brake, GPWS flap free. The chappy ahead looks like he's doing a bit of dilly-dallying around Tartan, so I wonder what's going on there. Is he holding? Or is he vectoring? That's very strange. Let's have a look. Sim aware. So... oh, has he just disappeared from the online? No, he's vectoring for the wrong airport. So my Shuttle 7 Tango pal has disappeared. What we do have is another chap who seems to be vectoring for the wrong direction, so yeah, we'll see about this. Coming in over the border hills, I think these are called the Pentlands. So you can see some nice British wilderland. Wilderness, that's the word. Not wilderland. That is a fun word that I just made up. So just descending down now. Looks like Edinburgh's underneath this, so that'll be exciting. And Glasgow's underneath that, so that's exciting. And then the rest of Scotland seems to be nice and sunny, which is absolutely bizarre, but not unheard of, I suppose. Is the UK, the weather changes extremely quickly. Let's put the seatbelt signs on now. Flaps out. And you can see a bit of turbulence coming to rock the aircraft around. From the window, not too bad. Who's that ahead? Is he just relogged on? Oh, come on. No, that's not the same chap. Quick check then. Reload. Map that sim. Okay, no, he's just done a weird loop thing and he's now turning around. He's flying an Airbus A320, so that's okay. He can continue to fly his Airbus A320 just as long as he get behind me. Edinburgh traffic, Easy 24 Tango inbound to Tartan, flight level 100, vectoring for ILS 06 at Edinburgh. For me, so we're going to be a little bit too high at this point by the looks of it. Seems like the approach was a bit more than 5 degrees. So we've got another 3,000 to do.
Traffic, 5 just left Tartan for runway 06.
Just left Tartan, that's great because there he is, right, okay, inspector behind him. Heading 260 degrees we can do. Give us a bit of time to descend, so he's going off quite far to the right. Actually going to go for a more direct approach. We will see if that works out for us. It's a bold strategy, let's see how it pays off. Look at the lovely farmlands below, looking very much like the UK right now. Some crop circles. Is that a smiley face crop circle? Obviously not, just kidding. Now this here, this is a reflection of the water, is actually absolutely realistic. I've literally been to Gatwick recently and it looks just like that. So that's very nice. He's now 3,000 below, 7 miles ahead, so we need to just reduce. I can see him there, visual with the traffic. We want to keep to the right of red if they're coming head on. So we're behind him right now. He's got his green lights on the right, starboard side. Red lights on the left. So there's 7,000. Let's pop up the landing system now. We're 14 miles from the airport. So what I might do is just turn us to 260 degrees. The thing is, I don't know how long he's going to make his downwind leg, so 1020 the QNH. Yes, descend then, you silly plane. 6,000, because it looks like 5,000 is occupied by this chap. Speed's fine now. Performance, approach phase. So now we can use our flaps to control our speed. Wait, what? Use the speed to control the flaps, I meant, of course. We'll decide how many flaps to put out. So he's now 5 miles ahead, so I'm just going to keep following this around basically until we do get to the full 10-mile approach. Unfortunately, I am all for cutting off corners and making visual approaches, but we're a little bit high, and I don't feel like cutting over that mountain there, so we'll just have to have a little wait and see. So there's his aircraft there, he's now making a right turn as expected, and we've got another one coming in at 15 miles. I hope he's not going to Edinburgh as well. If so, things will get very interesting. You can see the radar screen is starting to go fun. So this is what life is like with no air traffic controllers. Send down to 5,000 now. He's still 2,000 below. So there's enough space between them to take up kind of a position.
Edinburgh traffic, Airbus 25 turning onto the localizer runway 06 for 15 miles out, Edinburgh.
basically doing a very gentle right turn. I'm wondering where this guy's going over here, this chap, but this guy we're going to come in behind him quite easily, so that's no problem. And now do 300 degrees. And the heading is 060, so that means 330 will be our equivalent base leg. So 330 for base, which we can probably do now. Let's do a slow descent down to 4,000. Use 1.5 for that. Use flaps 1 speed now. 330 seems perfectly appropriate at this point. Edinburgh traffic, Easy24 Tango turning base on the 16-mile DME ILS 06. That's him there, so if he just keeps going, that'll be fine. Nobody do any funny business. Lights go on, please. Okay, and now let's turn heading 030. 020 even, that would probably be the best heading for that job. On the localizer. So there he is, 5 miles ahead, that's perfectly fine for separation. Let's spin the speed down. So I'm using this as a little radar screen basically and doing some of my own air traffic controlling. So there's the localizer coming in now, so I'm going to switch over to flight director from the heading from vertical speed FPA mode, the bird. Landing lights are on. Flaps 3 is probably okay to put in now, so I'm already going to put flaps 3 in. There we go, and we can on the approach mode there. Put the second autopilot in just in case. Looks like we're going to be going into some fog by the looks of it. So now looking behind, still can't see the guy behind us. If I go on nav, bump the range up to 20. Looks like nothing useful. Okay, arc mode again. 10 miles, so we've got 33 knots coming from the right at the moment, and that's going to dive down to a little bit less from the right and a little bit more chilled. We're on the glide path now though, so now descending. Edinburgh traffic, Easy24 Tango established 11 miles, runway 06.
Edinburgh traffic, Airbus 25 is at 6 mile final, Edinburgh.
So 5 miles ahead, that's fine. So you can set our minimum approach speed now. We've got what? 4.5 miles onto one. Great, that's fine. So we're now at our approach speed. We can just put the gear down whenever we're ready. That's actually quite good speed control, considering I didn't have to use the gear to slow down.
2,500.
There we go, 2,500. We'll put the gear down at 6 miles. That's going to be our decision for the day. Who have we got? Ryanair at 121. Easy24 Tango. Yeah, actually looks like there's not going to be any extra aircraft arriving. Just looking at the VATSIM map. I think that chap who came very close was actually the Ryanair landing at Glasgow. So we've got 8 miles to go, minimum approach speed. Looking like a foggy day. We've got like a kind of low layer of mist over the entirety of the... I'm guessing this is Livingston actually. I can see the aircraft ahead just flashing away in the clouds there just about. And we've got some towering clouds up ahead. Do I switch to visual? Not yet, I don't really see the aircraft. Do I switch to not autopilot though and fly it down manually using the flight director? That's a possibility. Because this wind looks like fun. For 27 knots from the right. Is there a storm on at the moment? What's this one called? Doesn't seem like it's a real storm to be honest. Right, there's 6 miles gear down. As discussed. So he's now about 1 mile from landing, so as soon as he's touched down and announced vacated, I'm going to land. Until that point, maybe not landing. So it's a flaps free landing, which means the flaps don't really look like they're fully down, which is absolutely okay. It is a bit more of a nose up attitude as well, so the flare may be a bit more intense. We will see. Fiat 148.
1,000.
Yeah, looks about right. There we go. Looking good. So it's a ground speed of 141, so that's fine. Still not visual with the field. The wind is still 130 at 20, so hard from the right. So we've got quite a crab angle, so I'm wondering if I need to be looking out another window for the field like the last time I did storm arm when at Edinburgh, when the field was somewhere over there. Anywho, looks good so far.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
That's the field coming into sight up ahead. Just catching the lights. And it's disappearing again. Edinburgh traffic, Easyjet for Tango, 3 mile final, is the runway clear?
Edinburgh traffic, vacated runway.
Nice. Grant, there's the runway. All in sight. Bit of a side wind. I'm fixing my view on the runway just before the runway.
300. 100 above. 200. Minimum.
Continue.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Touchdown. Right on the knots. Wait, you're meant to be... I don't know what airline he is, but I don't know it. Getting those all down. And with decel and reverse green. Disengage reverse thrust and manual braking. I'm going to vacate right now. 14 knots. And off with the strobes. Bringing in the flaps, we're going to go left and take one of the stands down on the left hand side. That seemed like a good landing. So what I did this time was I actually aimed for the touchdown marker before the big blocks, and then it meant that I was a little bit low, but as I pulled up and flared, I landed on the big blocks at 77 feet per minute. Oh yeah, now it is.
Kilometers or more. Broken 1,200 feet. Temperature +7. Dew point +4. QNH 1019. Acknowledge receipt of information, Mike. And advise aircraft type on first.
Edinburgh ground, Easyjet Tango with Mike. We're on Lima right now. Taxi to the stand, please.
Easyjet Tango, continue to taxi Lima Golf to stand 27.
Lima and Golf stand 27, Easyjet Tango. Let me guess he's put me right at the back of the airport. Let's have a look. Somewhere over there. This is now Lima. Golf to the right, Mike to the left, so let's go golf right. 77 feet per minute on the landing, so quite nice. Less than 100 feet per minute is a pretty okay descent rate. And it's hard, horrible weather, you want something a bit higher, especially when you need to break any surface tension of water. You don't want to end up aquaplaning straight after landing, that's not a good situation. 27, he said. Oh dear, my passengers are going to be upset. Look, why would you do that? Why would you? There's a whole empty airport. 25, 26, 27. Upsetty spaghetti. Self-marshalling. There we go. Let's see if stairs will appear. They do appear, that's good. Good, external power is now connected. All the lights can come off and the seatbelt signs too. There we go, nice landing at Edinburgh. With a nice 77 feet per minute, 131 knot ground speed. And the wind was 090 degrees at 12 knots. And this is Edinburgh. Looking a little bit sunnier than Gatwick was when we left it actually. It was raining in Gatwick, here's at least just overcast. What UK weather.